Yo, what it do? Let me fix my camera so we can move and we can groove. What up? Welcome to B-Rhy Express. I'm your host, B-Rhy, and you already know what it is. We are finally back with the Interaction Theater live stream, and we're back with another FMV game. This game is called Truth. Now, once I press start, the game will start and get right into it. And that's kind of weird that they do it like that. Like, there's no music, there's no pomp and circumstance. So, we're just going to get right into the gist of the game, which is we are taking part in a game show where we will eventually award the winner a prize. But of course, there got to be more to it, right? Got to be more to it than that. So we're going to jump right into it, not waste any time. Let's go right now. It's by the same people that made Vegas Tales, which is a game I played recently.
Welcome to Truth, the game show where we award a $1 million prize to the contestant chosen by our audience. We have 6 challengers hooked up to lie detectors, which I'll be monitoring. In every round, we ask each of them 5 questions chosen by our audience. Then we vote one off based on their answers. Let's meet our contestants.
Okay.
Why don't you each tell me a little about yourself?
I'm Joe.
What's up,
I'm
Joe?
28, and I'm from Philly. Let's go Eagles.
From Philly.
My name is Alexis, and I'm born and raised in Beverly Hills.
Okay, Alexis.
My name is Sam. Hello. And
they
I
tried to do
recently
the
moved out
truth
here
detector.
to Hollywood to get in the
Lie
film
detector, I mean.
industry. And I've been writing a long time before I even got to town.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I've got a lot
Big
of
script
scripts.
guy,
I'm willing to
big
show
writer.
them. Hit me up. And I'm very excited to be on the show.
All right.
I'm Autumn. I'm a California native, and I grew up right here in Los Angeles.
In L.A., you look untrustworthy.
Hi, I'm Claire. I've never been on TV before.
Okay, you look
I'm
nervous.
so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, Claire. Nice.
I go by Lilith.
Lilith.
And I'm from Van Nuys,
Okay,
California.
from the demon realm, huh?
Let's see what the audience wants to ask first.
All right, we get to ask the question, what fresh hell is this? Okay, we got a trophy with very funny humor. What would you do with the money? I'm assuming we're going to ask all these questions. Oh, no, we can ask everybody that question. Okay. So let's go through the questions first. What would you do with the money? What's your most embarrassing memory? What's your most controversial or unpopular opinion? Okay, interesting. What's your biggest regret? What's the dumbest thing you ever did? What's the most embarrassing guilty pleasure? What's the worst way you've betrayed a friend? What's your favorite holiday? Axe the trolley problem? We'll save that one for last, clearly. I want to start with something very simple. So they're going to get awarded, what, $1 million? I guess we'll start with the most. This is the simplest one to ask first. Then it'll probably be, what's your favorite holiday? All right. So what would you do with the money? What was his name? I forgot.
What would you do with the money?
Well, my ex-wife would probably get most of it. She's supposed to get half my income, but the judge hates me, so she always gets the bigger half. But if I got money, I'd pay off my credit cards, finish paying off my bike, and finally have some money in the bank for once. That'd be nice.
Okay. What would you do with the money?
What would you do with the money?
Oh, I have a financial advisor that handles my money for me. My parents use them. They're really good.
That didn't answer the question though. Like, what would you do with the money? You just have somebody handle it? Okay. Not. She doesn't seem too interested in the money. Actually, maybe she doesn't deserve it. What would you do with the money, Sam? I remember your name for some reason.
What would you do with the money?
Well, I've been working on a film for several years. It's kind of like my main baby when it comes to screenwriting, but I haven't had the capital to produce it. It's a superhero film,
Okay.
but get this. In most superhero movies, someone gets powers. They either become the good guy or the bad guy. What if they just still remain a guy and they don't use the powers? Maybe they're like, they try them out, but then they're like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to my regular life. And it's a superhero film that turns into just a slice of life normal guy film because he doesn't use them. And then at the end, when you think he's like, oh, he's about to save the day, the powers get reversed and he loses them.
We went to a whole nother conversation because the question I asked this man was, what are you going to do with the money? Like, he went to talk about, maybe it's part of the film that he wants to do, but he went to talking very in depth about the film, which was nothing that I had, part of the question. Anyway, next, Autumn. I remember her too. What would you do for the money?
What would you do with the money?
Pharmaceutical companies test drugs on puppies and other small animals all the time, then just abandon them when they're done. Someone needs to do something about it.
Okay.
If I win, I plan on using the money to open a rehab center so I can help those poor puppies recover and live normal lives.
That's nice. I like that. Okay. I like that. All right. This very excited lady, what would you do with the money?
What would you do with the money?
I would hire a private investigator to help me find my daughter Mallory. We
Mallory.
got separated on a fishing trip
Let me
quite a
stop.
few years ago now, and I spent all my time and my resources finding her, going from city to city, but she's always moved on. So, yeah, a private investigator could be life-changing for me.
Okay. To find your daughter. Interesting. All right. Lilith of the Ninth Circle. What would you do with the money?
What would you do with the money?
I'd start my own cult, dedicated to summoning Cthulhu and bringing about the end of days.
Okay. 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 All right. Sure. All right. Let's move to something else. We're going to go with the have you ever cheated on anyone? That's a good question, too. But anyway, we're going to ask, what's your favorite holiday?
What is your favorite holiday?
Well, when I was growing up, it was Christmas, hands down.
course.
Probably every kid's favorite holiday growing up.
Probably
Now it's
so.
Thanksgiving, for sure.
Eh,
You know, day off from work, food, lots of good food, and football. My three favorite things.
okay. Yeah, that's a good choice. Thanksgiving is definitely up there as one of the favorite holidays. My favorite holiday right now, yeah, I guess I would say like Thanksgiving. Anyway, what's your favorite holiday, ma'am?
What is your favorite holiday?
My birthday falls on Christmas, so I get double presents every year.
Okay.
What can compete with that?
What can compete with that? That is awesome. What's your favorite holiday?
What is your favorite holiday?
Sam, I am.
Yeah, my favorite holiday is definitely Pi Day.
I see you
March
got the pie on
14th,
the shirt.
3
Okay.
slash 14, aka 3.14, as in
Right.
pi. And I love it. It's not an official holiday yet, anyway,
Okay.
but
Probably
every
never.
Pi Day, I go to a competition where, first off, there are many varieties of pie: blueberry, apple, we
Very sure.
indulge. And then there's the competition part of it where they see who can name the most numbers after the decimal point from memory. And I won it once. I named 1,826 numbers from memory, but that's not the world record. I don't
Damn.
know if I'll ever get close to that. The world record is 70,000
Wow.
from memory.
That's crazy.
Happy Pi Day.
Sure. All right. He seems very smart, but probably a little crazy. What's your favorite holiday, Autumn? Is it in
What
the
is your
autumn?
favorite holiday?
Let me stop.
Arbor Day.
Arbor
I
Day.
like that there's a holiday that's for trees and not humans. I
Okay.
always try to
And
spend
your
my
name
day
is
hanging
Autumn.
out in the woods, away from people.
Okay. You don't like people. I get it. She wants to save the puppies too. So yeah, she's very animal focused. All right. Why is sad music for her? She must have a tragic tale. What's your well, she is missing her daughter. What's your favorite holiday? She probably doesn't have a favorite holiday. Everything's tragic.
What's your favorite holiday?
Oh, well, that's easy. It's Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Ah, when you're homeless like
Oh,
I
she's home.
am, it's really
Oh,
hard to
okay.
find places to sleep. But on Thanksgiving, I can sleep in front of any storefront, entrance, window, and everyone just thinks I'm queuing for the Black Friday sales, and I get left alone. It's pure bliss. It just warms my heart every Thanksgiving.
Wow. Okay, so she's homeless, missing her daughter. I hate to. Lilith is probably gonna say something very offensive. I don't even think it's Halloween. I think it's something worse. Anyway, Lilith, what's your favorite holiday?
And what is your favorite holiday?
I think it's a tie
Uh oh.
between Memorial Day.
Uh huh. Of course.
There's more murders in the U.S. on Memorial Day than any other day of the year.
Wow. How do you know that?
And All Hallows Eve,
Okay,
when the
of course.
boundaries between the land of the living and the land of the dead are
Okay, she did say
blurred.
Halloween. Why she looking? She is something wrong with her. All right, Lilith. We're not giving Lilith the money. Already off top. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me not be um, divisive like that or whatever the. That's probably not the word I was looking for. But let's not be that. All right. What's the next easiest questions? It seems like after the trolley questions get more serious. So we're gonna save all those. We're just gonna choose from these top up here. Uh, what's the worst way you've been betrayed a friend? What's your most best and good pleasure? What's the dumbest thing you ever did? What's your biggest regret? All right. Before we get on to them, let's get their most controversial. Well, no, dumbest thing they ever did, because I think controversial opinion is gonna be get some juicy stuff. So let's start a little light with the most. What's the dumbest thing you ever did?
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Oh, I'm sure he
Yeah,
has
so I was the
plenty.
toughest kid in my high school, right? Everybody knew that about me. There was this guy though.
'Cause
He
he
was
wears a
6'8",
leather jacket.
freakishly tall, big guy. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's tough. Like, oh, he could take you." I hated that. What? You're tall, so that gives you grit? Bullshit. So, plus the guy, he was in honors classes. He must have been a nerd. No way he could take me. One day, it got to me. I called him out in the hallway. I egged him on. He didn't want to fight. I said, let's go. Not only did he beat my ass, but he
Huh.
beat it so badly. It was
Dang.
just, I was bruising for days, man. Best part is, though, we became best friends, and yeah, the rest is history. I don't know, I picked a fight with a giant, got my ass beat. That was stupid. Yeah, that was stupid.
Okay. Yeah, pretty stupid. But you was kind of right. Just because he tall don't mean he had them hands. But you got somebody who had them hands, obviously. All right. Let's ask her. What's the dumbest thing? Oh, and I'm sure she has plenty too. But let's see. What's the dumbest thing you ever did? Stacy, is
What
it
is the
Stacy?
dumbest thing you ever did?
I once bought this outfit and I posted on Instagram #newoutfit. What I didn't realize is that I posted in the same exact outfit that I bought a few months earlier. People thought I was lying, but I just forgot that I bought the same outfit. People still bring it up in the comments to this day.
Dumbest thing she did was buy the same outfit and didn't realize that she bought the same outfit. All right. I mean, that wasn't. I mean, yeah, that's dumb, but that's forgivable, I guess. All right, Sam. What's the dumbest thing you ever did?
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Dumbest thing I ever did. How do I choose just one? I was camping outside a store waiting to buy a game console. So it was going to be released, and I wanted to get there early. I wanted to make sure that I got one. And I set up a tent. I was going to sleep outside the store. I was there for 28 hours in my tent. The night before the store opened, when they were going to sell the console, it was go time. I went to sleep in my tent, had my phone with me. I didn't have any way to charge my phone, and my alarm didn't go off in the morning because my phone ran out of juice. I woke up 3 hours after the store opened, and I did not get the console. I
Shame.
slept in a tent on a
You did
sidewalk.
for 28 hours, which
Got
is I don't
back
understand why
problems
28
from it.
hours. I guess so you can be in line early
For what
and
ended up
be in
being no
front of the
reason
line.
whatsoever.
Yeah, for no reason at all. Yeah. All right, that's pretty dumb. Pretty dumb. You should have had your phone charged, Sam. All right, Autumn. What's the dumbest thing you ever did?
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
We heard they were going to cut down a huge area of forest, so about 20 of us went out there the night before to protest. We chained ourselves to trees so they'd have to delay their logging until they could get rid of us. Only we were in the wrong place. They were logging about a half a mile away, so no one knew we were there for almost a week. By
Wow.
the time someone found us, we were out of food and water, and we thought we were going to die. The guy who found us went to ask the loggers for help, and they had to cut down the trees we were chained to in order to free us. All we accomplished was getting an
Yeah.
extra 20 trees cut down
Yeah,
and almost dying
that's
in the
pretty dumb.
process.
That is pretty dumb. That's very dumb. All right, Autumn. You're top dumbest. I'm sorry to say. I thought you were smarter than that. Anyway, sad lady, what's the dumbest thing you ever did?
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Oh, well, that was sleeping in a dumpster. I mean, it seems like a good idea, right? You know, there's a
No.
lid on them, keeps you dry when it's wet.
True, but you're not
Unfortunately,
Oscar the
I fell
Grouch.
asleep and the garbage truck came by, and I woke up to find myself being
That
tumbled
too.
into the garbage truck and being compacted in beside everything else. It took me 3 days to free myself from the block I was in the landfill.
Wow. That's pretty dumb too. That was not very well thought through, ma'am. All right. Every time I hear her music, just lets you know we're up to something mischievous. All right, Lilith, what's the dumbest thing you ever did?
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
This rich couple used to pay me to sit for their dog.
I don't know why they would do that.
And one day he died on my watch.
I wonder
So I
how.
buried him in the backyard. Replaced him with a look-alike from the local pet shop.
Oh.
The couple comes home. The new dog won't stop barking, yapping, nipping. I said he was acting normal during my watch. I got paid and I left. Anyway, he ends up biting one of them. So they put him outside, where he digs up the original, who turns out wasn't as dead as I thought.
Oh, no.
So they decided they needed to call me, text me dozens of times, asking me why I would bury their dog alive and try and replace him with an evil clone. I figured there was no way explaining my way out of that one, so
There was not.
I didn't reply.
Lost the job, I'm sure. All right, yeah, that's pretty dumb. Pretty dumb. I like it. Oh, we got unusual talents. Oh my goodness. All right. Um All right, let's just start from the top here. From now on, I believe we can get into everything else. What's your most embarrassing memory?
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Man, I once tried dating two girls in the same night, and that did not go well.
I bet.
I was out with this one girl, and we were having a great time. And then I drove her home. I went inside. We fooled around a little bit. That was fun. And yeah, I said goodbye. Went to this bar, and I met this other chick, and she was digging me, and I was digging her. And yeah, we left. I took her home, and it's the same home. Like, they're roommates, dude. So I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
Joe, don't push your luck. Let's go home. But no, man, I don't know. I thought like maybe the first girl would be sleeping, or like best
Wow.
case, who knows? You know what I mean? So yeah, I
I
went
mean,
inside, and sure
I
enough, the
guess worth
first
a
girl
shot.
sitting there like watching TV. These girls laid it on me. They got up, they yelled at me. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're beautiful, both of you. Yeah, that sucked. That was, not my finest hour. Yikes.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to be ladies, man. Most embarrassing memory for you, young lady.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
I was at a party once, and Lady Gaga showed up in the same outfit as me.
Oh
How am
Lord.
I supposed to compete with Gaga?
You can't.
That was so humiliating.
And that's all she has. Boo. Boring. Boring. Boo. All right. What's your most embarrassing memory?
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Oh, yeah. I got an embarrassing memory. My most embarrassing memory was, okay, so I was maybe like 4 or 5 years old, and
We know he likes to
at a
tell long
neighbor's
stories.
house, the Harrises. They were the only house on the block that had a pool. So we'd go over there for summer afternoons, pool parties. So I was in the pool this one time with my dad, and I told him I had to pee, and he told me, just go in the pool. That's what
No.
everyone does.
No.
So
Your dad is
again,
an idiot.
I was really young. This was like probably right before kindergarten, and I peed in the pool, and it was fine.
It was
So
not fine.
that became a normal thing.
Oh,
I would
no.
go if I was in the pool. I would pee in the pool. Well,
Pee pee in the pool. Okay.
one summer, again, I was very young, maybe kindergarten. There was a big pool party. It was a birthday.
Oh no.
Everyone was there from my class, the neighbors, and I had to go.
Get up.
I wasn't in the pool. I was standing right outside the pool.
And
I
you went
figured,
and got
oh,
in the
if I have
pool?
to go, just go in the pool. And I stood there and peed into the pool.
Oh my God, you're an
I
idiot.
quickly learned that that was wrong. Everyone was horrified. They cleared out the pool. Party was almost over. It was like I ruined the birthday.
You did.
And that stigma stuck with me. Let's see, that was kindergarten. Almost until high school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
should have been
I was the
past
pool peer.
high school.
Not my proudest moment.
he, he, he just he just whipped it out. Say what? What are you doing? Anyway, no, that's stupid. But whatever. All right, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. Anyway, Sam, I cannot let you live that one down. All right, Autumn, what's your most embarrassing memory?
What is your most embarrassing memory?
I came across a small group of people protesting outside a chemical plant, and I got excited and I called all of my friends, and we all joined in to show our support. Chemical plants are always terrible for the environment, so we were more than happy to be a part of the protest. But as it turned out, it wasn't a protest at all. It was a picket line. The plant was temporarily shut down while all the workers were on strike, and all of us extra people showing up helped convince management to give in to their demands and end the strike. We were trying to get the place shut down, but instead we got them to reopen it earlier than they otherwise would have.
Wow. Yep.
So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing, but doesn't beat Sam. Does not beat Sam, even though he was a dumb kid when he did his, and you were an adult, or at least a teenager. But yeah, that was pretty dumb. All right, most embarrassing moment for you, ma'am. I'm sure you had plenty since you're homeless. Sorry to say.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
she had to make a face.
Been quite a few things in my life that are
What a
embarrassing.
few things.
You know those people on trains that go around checking everyone's tickets that they've got the right tickets? Well, it was my high school reunion, and I pretended that I was one of those people, that was my job, so that everyone would think I was really successful. But then it turned out in the group there was somebody who was a real ticket checker, and they told everyone that I wasn't. They didn't, like, I didn't have that job. They knew I didn't, like, they never saw me at work. It was so embarrassing. You really dropped me in it.
Oh, you told him you had a job you didn't have? I mean, sure, embarrassing, but you put that on yourself. I mean, of course, I guess everybody put their most embarrassing moments on themselves, but like that wasn't too bad. Anyway, what's your most embarrassing memory, Lilith?
What is
Did you summon a
your
demon
most
and it
embarrassing
attacked you?
memory?
When I was 6 years old, my parents forced me to attend the birthday party of the girl who lived next door. They fed me copious amounts of candies, cakes.
She's so dramatic.
I got caught up in such a sugar rush, I actually participated in their games.
Okay, Wednesday.
The
Addams.
worst part was, afterwards, many of these peasants actually thought we were friends.
Oh, peasants. Now they're peasants. That was the most embarrassing part because you had fun and they thought you were friends with them. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's get into the deep stuff now. What's your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
I think more people should ride motorcycles. Motorcycles are sweet, dude. Like, oh, people like their hybrid cars. They only get 50
Is
miles
that
per
most
gallon.
unpopular?
Motorcycles get that kind of mileage. and they're cool, and no traffic, and they cost like a fraction of the price of a car. $5 grand for a bike, and that's a good one, dude. Yeah, bikes are sweet. Easy to
That's
find parking too,
uh,
wherever,
true.
whenever.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion, though. I mean, people are pro bikes for the most part. They just don't want to ride them themselves because they could kill themselves. All right. What's your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Okay. There's this James Bond movie called The World Is Not Enough, where Denise Richards plays a physicist. Everyone was making fun of it, saying that she did a terrible job and that it was sexist of them to cast her. Here's the thing. She did fine. If she was more plain looking, I guarantee nobody would have said anything. The people who are saying that it was sexist are the sexist ones. They don't believe that a woman can be hot and smart enough to be a scientist. And that's the most sexist thing you can do.
Okay. I mean, very true. I'm gonna be real with you. I've never seen that movie, so I can't really talk about it on that level. But I mean, that's not too bad. That's not. Once again, that's not a. I mean, not a controversial opinion, in my opinion. Oh, I bet Sam has something good for us. Sam does not disappoint. What's your most controversial or unpopular opinion, Sam?
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Okay. Well, my most controversial slash unpopular opinion, a lot of people say that it's pretty bogus that Superman just puts on a pair of glasses and he becomes Clark Kent and no one knows who he is. No one can recognize him. I actually think that checks out. See, I've thought about this a lot. Now,
Okay.
if there's this hero and then you see someone who's kind of your normal neighbor, you wouldn't associate that. Like, your mind wouldn't go there. So, like, here's an example. Let's say you have a neighbor who looks exactly like Barack Obama,
Okay.
but his hair is a little different, and he wears glasses, and he's got a normal job. Let's say he works at a gas station, and you wouldn't say, my neighbor, James, who works at the gas station, has glasses, is ex-president of the United States, Barack Obama. You'd say, oh, that guy kind of looks like Barack Obama,
True.
but it's not Barack Obama. Same thing. You wouldn't
No.
say, oh,
I mean, I guess I kind of
Clark,
get you.
who, like, is a cub reporter for
Okay. Yeah, yeah. You making
the
sense.
Daily Planet. He can't be Superman. He's a bumbling goof who
Yeah. I
slightly
get it.
looks like Superman.
Right.
Remember, Clark is like uncoordinated. Clark is like, you know, bad at life. Superman is the best. So, like, you would not make that
I get it. I get it.
leap. I think
Yeah.
I'm
You'll
totally
say he
wrong.
looks like Superman. I get it.
Unpopular opinion, and I stand by it.
Yeah. Okay. See, I told you he don't disappoint. That makes sense. And I think that would be a controversial opinion. But yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, Autumn. What's your most controversial opinion? See, I'm such a nerd. Now that I'm going back to what Sam was saying. Anyway, Autumn. What's your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Owning pets is wrong and should be illegal. If your dog or cat isn't free to come and go as they please, they're not your pet, they're your prisoner.
Okay. Yeah. You got. I mean, you got a point. That is very an unpopular opinion, and I feel you on it though. You make sense. All right. What about you? What's your most controversial or unpopular opinion, ma'am?
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
most people think you need milk to eat cereal. I
Oh,
completely
you do.
disagree. It's so extortionate. The prices of milk nowadays. I mean, no way. I just use water and it's delicious. I love my cereal with water when I can find cereal.
With water. Done it. Can't do it no more. It is not my thing. All right. Um, Lilith, what is your most controversial unpopular opinion? This should be interesting.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
I believe that we should bring back public execution.
Okay.
We're already executing people in 27 states. Why not sell tickets?
Oh, jeez.
I know some people really hate the death penalty, but they should love this idea.
Oh, why?
Executing these prisoners in private only helps the masses not to think about it.
You should force them to think
Making
about
it
it, huh?
public, but bring attention to it.
Let them know
It
not to
gives
do
the
it.
rest of us something to do.
And it gives the rest of us something to do. All
That's the
right.
end of this round. We'll soon find
Oh.
out who will be going home after this message from our
Do I not
sponsor.
get to ask all the questions? I thought we were going to
Today's
ask all the
episode is
questions.
brought to you by Rebecca Cartwright. Have you been injured in an automobile accident or hurt on the job? Has your case already been settled and you've been awarded a large sum of money? Call Rebecca Cartwright, 555-1258.
They got commercials.
Rebecca is 25, single, and looking for a long
And she's dating?
relationship.
Okay.
Just love dogs.
Damn.
Now it's time for the audience
Rebecca
to vote.
got it all.
Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going.
Oh, I don't get to ask all the questions. So that, of course, it's going to make me want to replay it. Who do I think should go home? Joe, Alexis, Sam, Autumn, Claire, or Lilith? I'm going to say Alexis. She doesn't seem like she even needs the money. She's out there chilling with Lady Gaga, dressing in the same outfits. She's, doing all this. All her embarrassing moments are not really embarrassing because she got so much clothes. She just buys the same thing. Her parents take care of all the money, so she don't have to. So yeah, we're gonna go with Alexis. She doesn't need this money.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Alexis.
That's okay. This was fun. And isn't that the point of a game show?
Very true. See, she don't care. She don't mind.
Okay, let's get started.
Better
with
call
round two.
Rebecca. That's got
Audience, choose your first question.
a trophy. Okay, no, we keep the same questions, but I'm guessing we're not going to be able to go through all the questions. Okay, so we'll just go through these. Oh, we got a bunch of questions. Okay, let's go through these. See which ones we want to go through first. Biggest regret, most embarrassing guilty pleasure, worst way you've betrayed a friend. That'll be interesting. Yeah, we need to get into some dirt for the second round. We kept it light a little bit for the first round. Now we need to get a little deep. That's a trolley problem. I'm still going to have to worry about that one. May do that on the third round or wherever, how long it takes. Have you ever cheated on anyone? What's the most serious law you ever broken? Okay. That might be a real good question to start with. What's your most unusual talent? Describe a typical day in your life. What's your most unusual pet peeve? What's your happiest memory? What's your proudest accomplishment? If you found a wallet, would you return it? What were you like as a child? What do you do for a living? Who would you want to be stranded on an island with? If you could have any job, what would it be? What's your childhood dream? What is your biggest fear? What advice would you give your younger self? If you could have any superpower, what would you choose? Okay. So we're going to go straight deep, though. We're going to start with a hard hitter. What's the most serious law you ever broken?
What is the most serious law you've ever broken?
I used to shoplift as a kid. I also used to do a ton of underage drinking. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know which one's worse, but
Oh, Joe's a
whichever one's
lawyer.
worse, I
Okay.
guess, would be my answer.
Shoplifting and drinking as a kid. Okay, not bad. What's the most serious law you've ever broken, Sam?
What's the most serious law you've ever broken?
I would say the most serious law I've ever broken is sneaking into a movie.
Wow. Okay. Very,
So,
very
in 2015,
not
Star
offensive.
Wars The Force Awakens was coming out, and there was an advanced sneak preview screening beforehand. And it was invite only. So I figured out a way around that since I wasn't invited, but I did want to see it. I'm not going to tell you what theater it was or what theater chain because I do not want to get a phone call from their
Relax,
attorneys.
Sam. Relax.
But the night before this advanced screening, I went to a movie at that theater, and then I stayed in the theater all night long. I hid in the bathroom,
Oh my God.
slept there,
You're crazy.
and then the next day, I was in the theater for the screening. And there were a couple of seats open. It wasn't completely full. So I got into the sneak preview. I saw The Force Awakens early. I'm not proud of it.
You're crazy.
It's probably a big felony.
Probably
but
not.
I would do it again.
That's Sam, all right. Sam said he'll do it again. A big felony. Going to go see Star Wars. What's the most serious law you ever broken, Autumn? I'm sure she's broken plenty trying to protest and stuff.
What is the most serious law you have ever broken?
I smoked a lot of weed in states where it wasn't legal yet.
Okay.
I guess I've technically sold it too, which would be a more serious crime.
yeah.
I was never a drug dealer, but if I bought
Never?
a bunch and then some of my friends bought off of me, I guess that's technically selling drugs, even if I'm not charging them a markup. In terms of legal penalties, that would be the most serious. The penalties for drug-related charges are ridiculous in this country.
All right, Autumn. All right. All right. Okay, Autumn. Learning more about her. All right. We're going to learn about her too. What's the most serious law you've ever broken, ma'am?
What's the most serious law you've ever broken?
International piracy law. When I was lost at sea one time, I thought all was lost.
One time when you was lost at
A
sea.
pirate ship came by and actually rescued me. Now, you've heard bad things about pirates, and so had I, but they could not have been nicer. They gave me a job to do on ships so that I could earn my keep when I was there, and everything was going great until they got superstitious. They are superstitious, so they thought for some reason it might be bad luck that I was on board with them. So they were just about to drop me off when we got raided by a Russian Navy ship.
Oh, damn.
Put us all in a Russian jail for 5 years for piracy.
Wow. Wow. 5-year jail sentence for being rescued by some pirates and caught by the Russians. Jeez. Okay. Oh, this should be funny. All right, Lilith, what's the most serious law you've ever broken?
What's the most serious law you have ever broken?
She had to laugh
See,
about
the
that.
problem with that question is that you need to be caught, tried, and convicted
Oh, Lord.
for you to be breaking the law. Now, say I shoot someone. Was it self-defense? Was it manslaughter? Was it murder? Until it gets in front of a jury, we just don't know. And I'm not dumb enough to get caught and have to be put in front of a jury.
Okay. All right. So you're saying it's that serious of a crime you've done? I mean, because it was you could have. I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right, Lilith. Not. I mean, that wasn't unexpected. All right. So that was a good question to start off. We want to learn how if they're a bad person at all. So that's we're gonna keep with that style of question and ask this other one up here. What's the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
Oh man, dude. For years, my friend John used to sell my friend Keith weed, but it wasn't weed, it was kale. Like, he would sell him kale instead of weed.
Wow.
And yeah, Keith didn't know. Like, for years, I was watching Keith, like, pack bongs with kale, and that wasn't working. So then he would, like, make kale brownies, and he had no idea.
Wow.
And yeah, I should have told him, but it was just too funny.
Not too bad. That was a joke, and you had nothing to do with it. It was just like, yeah, you should have told him. All right. What's the worst way you've betrayed a friend, Sam? Probably not.
What is
Not
the
bad.
worst way you've betrayed a friend?
Lilith doesn't have friends, so that's going to be a hard question to her to answer.
Oh. I try not to betray friends, but. Okay. I spoiled Avengers Infinity War for several of my friends and coworkers.
So did everybody else.
So, opening night, I saw it twice. I got my tickets in advance for
He loves
two
movie
showings
theaters.
right in a row, back to back. I was at the theater for like 6 hours just downloading Infinity War, and it was awesome. But I'm like, okay, Friday, maybe people haven't seen it yet. Over the weekend, I saw it 2 more times.
Damn.
I go into work Monday. I assume that everyone has seen it. It's a phenomenon. It's like the movie grossed
Lord.
like $2 billion.
Just because you
I
done
don't
seen
know
it
how
4,
much
5
everyone
times?
saw it. I assume they all saw it opening weekend. And I started
Assuming.
going on about the people we lost, the Avengers we lost, the snap. I really spoiled that movie for a lot of people.
Mm.
I had a lot of apologizing to do that day.
Okay. Yeah,
And
you
if you're
probably pissed some
watching,
people off, but that's not too bad.
let me just say once again, I am so sorry.
And I do it again.
I promise you, I am now keeping it spoiler free.
All right, Sam. Not too bad. What's the worst way you've betrayed a friend? Autumn.
What's the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I gave a lot of my friends chlamydia. In fairness, some of them probably had it already. We're all very open about our sexuality. That's just the type of people I vibe with.
Okay. All right, Autumn. Anyway, what's the worst way you've betrayed? That's terrible, Autumn. That is terrible. But I mean, like she said, they probably already had it anyway. Y'all are That's what Cleveland say. That's nasty. Don't do that. Jeez. All right. Anyway, what's the worst way you betrayed a friend?
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
Well, that would be my friend Emily from high school. We were paired together for a science project, and she looked after this egg that we were given for the first week, and I was to look after it for the second week. And I did it great. The egg was perfect, and I was carrying it into school on the last day of the project.
And you tripped
Give to
and fell.
Emily to hand to the teacher. I got chased by a coyote, and of course I dropped the egg, and the coyote ate the egg, and I just thought, I can't let Emily down. Like, I don't want to betray my friend and disappoint her. And I remembered, though, that I had seen a bird's nest on the way to school a few days before.
So
I
you
went
took the
back,
bird's egg?
and sure enough, there's an egg in the bird's nest. It was maybe like a slightly bluer shade of grey than the egg we'd be given, but I thought, nobody's going to notice. So I took it into school, handed it to Emily, She was just about to give it to the teacher, and a red-tailed hawk flew in the window and violently attacked Emily for touching the baby's egg. And so not only did we not get an A, Emily was in intensive care for 3 weeks.
Jeez.
Things were never the same with us again.
I'm sure. Okay. I mean, that's bad, but you didn't betray her. You just got chased by a coyote. I guess you bad luck. Anyway, all right. Lilith doesn't have friends. She already made that perfectly clear. But we're gonna ask this question anyway. What's the worst way you betrayed a friend?
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I don't have friends,
Exactly.
but I have betrayed people.
Okay.
When I was in high school, there was a girl in my class who told me she wanted to kill herself.
Oh.
And I could have helped her, but I didn't. And in hindsight, I do wish I had.
Why?
I ran into her recently, and she's married to a loser, has 2 ugly children, and works part-time as a waitress.
2 ugly children.
If I had helped her commit suicide back then, she wouldn't be
Wow.
suffering
Don't
like
not
that.
the S word.
I offered to kill her now, but apparently it's too late.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to die anymore.
Shame. Lilith is crazy. I gotta keep her around just because she's entertaining me. Lilith is crazy. All right, so we got through that second round of questions. Um, so yeah, none of them are really bad people, so we don't have to worry about that. Um, let's get this is a simple one. Let's go. What's your biggest fear?
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is dying. I mean, duh. Like, I don't want to die. Not in any particular way. You know, people are like, oh, I don't want to drown or get eaten by a lion. Like, I don't care how I go. I just don't want to be dead, you know?
I got you. Okay, simple enough. All right, what's your biggest fear, Sam?
What's your biggest fear?
Okay, my biggest fear, and this might be uncommon, but I am afraid of things that can't really happen, or things that are like an optical illusion but aren't possible in real life. So, for example, M.C. Escher paintings, like a staircase that starts nowhere and leads to nowhere, and walls and architecture that are not possible in real life, or opening a door and a room is upside down, or just objects that move through space and do not abide by the laws of physics. Because I'm a
Supernatural stuff,
logical
basically.
person, I'm trying to wrap my head
Well, not
around these
supernatural, I
things.
guess.
And
Okay, I see that.
because I can't get a toehold in logic into how that setup is occurring,
It scares you.
I lose my bearings. And that is my biggest fear.
You're weird, Sam, but I mean that's not bad. Not a bad fear. Just stuff you don't understand that scares you. Okay, that is kind of a bad fear. But yeah, stuff that you can't comprehend scares you. I guess that makes more sense. All right. Uh Autumn, what's your biggest fear?
What is your biggest fear?
Global warming and pollution. Humans are killing this planet. Nature doesn't fight back, so humans are the only ones who can save the planet, but we're the ones it needs saving from. So the Earth is pretty much doomed.
Pretty much. All right. What's your biggest fear, ma'am?
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is flying. And it's always been my biggest fear, even when I was a little girl. I was petrified of flying. And so my parents got me an emotional support dog called Mr. Fluffers. And they told me that as long as I had Mr. Fluffers with me when I was flying, everything would be all right. So off I went on my first plane trip with Mr. Fluffers, and I knew everything was going to be all right. Even when the plane crashed into the mountains.
Damn.
I still knew everything was going to be all right because I had Mr. Fluffers.
You're crazy now.
Unfortunately,
you crashed into the mountain.
It was about 3 weeks that we had before the search and rescue team found me and other survivors. 3 weeks without food. So
was this before or after the pirate incident?
We wouldn't have been all right if Mr. Fluffers hadn't been there initially.
Oh, y'all ate Mr. Fluffers? Oh, wow. All right, what's your biggest fear, Lilith?
What is your
interested to
biggest
hear.
fear?
Having to get one of those normal peasant jobs.
Peasant jobs.
One where there's a boss to report to and a clock to punch.
Yeah.
I tried it when I was younger. And it still gives me nightmares.
It sucks, I agree.
Not the fun kind.
Not at all. The fun kind of nightmares, I don't know what that is. That exists. All right. We're learning about them. We're learning about them. Yeah, let's go with the biggest regret. That one just caught my eye.
What is your biggest regret?
Marrying my high school sweetheart. My ex-wife.
Oh, the one that takes all the money.
No more. No, thank you. Yeah, we were miserable. And now I pay alimony every month.
Mm-hmm. Okay, seems upset about that. All right, biggest regret, Sam.
What is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret. Okay. Years ago, I used to work at a video store. Back in the day and age where they actually had video stores, where you didn't have everything at your fingertips streaming. And I worked with this girl named Rebecca, and we got along so good. We were jokey, we had banter, but the thing I was oblivious to at the time was that she was flirting with me. Like,
I've been there.
she was into me.
And you just ignored it because you're an idiot.
The crazy thing is, I had a crush on her, but I was in the dark to her feelings about me. But now, years later, I can think back. I'm like, oh yeah, she was totally flirting with me. She, like, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
Nothing happened, and that is a major regret. I might take that one to my grave.
Yeah, I feel you, man. All right, Autumn, biggest regret.
What is your biggest regret?
Working normal jobs.
See, I feel you.
Normal life,
Everybody
as long
hates
as
the
I did.
normal stuff, yeah.
I was always miserable when I was working. Even when I was off the clock, I was miserable. So I got out of the rat race a few years ago, and I've never been happier.
Okay. Biggest regret.
What's your biggest regret?
Well, that's easy. That would be the fishing trip I took my daughter Mallory on 20 years ago.
Where you lost her?
Well, obviously I couldn't afford a boat. So we borrowed 2 floating pool chairs and off we went out into the ocean.
Oh, that was
A
dumb.
beautiful day. Unfortunately, I got caught in an undercurrent and I was swept off to a desert island. I saw she made it back to shore. It took me so long to get off the desert island that by the time I got home, she'd moved on, and I've not been able to find her since.
Mallory. Lord, Mallory. All right. Lilith, what's your biggest regret?
What is your biggest regret?
You didn't kill that person that you wanted to kill?
That's easy. There are many people I've encountered in my life who I didn't kill,
As
even though
expected.
they clearly deserved it. And now it's too late.
Why is it
I
too
wouldn't
late?
even know where to find them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was kind of expected. All right. This is probably one of our last questions, so let's make it a good one. We need to find out if they really would deserve the money. So let's see who can ask. Yeah, we're just gonna go with what was your childhood dream? Or what advice? You could ask what advice would you give your younger self? Um, no, let's just go with the childhood dream. What was your childhood dream?
What was your childhood dream?
You can gain some points
I
with
had a
my
ton of dreams as
emotions.
a kid. What I wanted to do changed all the time, you know? I mean, wouldn't that be true for just about everyone? Who spends
Not
their whole
always.
childhood focused on one goal?
I did. Mainly. I thought that was my problem. So nice to see he thought things different. All right. What was your childhood dream?
What was your childhood dream?
You know, my childhood dream was always to be the first or youngest person to accomplish something. Like, I would have loved to have been the youngest person ever to graduate from MIT, or
I knew he was smart.
the youngest person ever to travel to space. But as you grow old, you start to lose that dream, because when you're 9 years old and you publish an article in a physics journal, that's amazing. When you're 35 years old and you do it, you're just a nerd.
Wow. Yeah, 9 years old. That's definitely amazing. I mean, 35 still. That would pretty. I would think that's still amazing. But again, hey, you're also a nerd. Yes. Anyway, Autumn, what's your childhood dream? Did he give us an answer? Anyway, Autumn, what's your childhood dream?
What was your
Sometimes Sam
childhood
goes
dream?
off the written
To
path.
be a corporate executive, live in a big house, and make a 6-figure salary. When I got older, I realized that a job like that would take up almost all my free time, and then taking care of a house of that size would take up the little bit of time I had left. Now that dream sounds like a nightmare to me.
Okay. Simple. All right, Mallory. What was your childhood dream? I just wanted to live with my
What was your
family.
childhood dream?
Oh, I totally remember my childhood dream. It's magical. I mean, we didn't have any money to afford a TV set, but my neighbours did. And we could see it if you just, peered out the window a certain way. We could see across into their living room, and they would always watch game shows. And all I wanted was to be a a winner on one of those game shows and just...
See, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
That was it for me.
Just to win a game show. See, that now she's trying to pull on the heartstrings. See? All right, Mallory. All right, what was your childhood dream?
What was your childhood dream?
I've always wanted to be possessed by a demon. That's still my dream.
Lord, why? That's
Maybe
you know
one
that
day I
they
can
will
make it
kill you
happen.
at the end. You do not
That's the end
survive
of this
that.
round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor.
All right. Who is it?
Today's episode is brought to you by OneSock.com. Does it
OneSock.com.
always seem like you have an odd number of socks for some reason? OneSock.com lets you buy one individual
How
sock
nice.
so you can finally even things out. That's OneSock.com. Use offer code TRUTH, and they'll include a
OneSock.com.
second sock absolutely
Oh,
free.
not a second sock for
Now
free.
it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be
All right.
going home.
Who should go home for the second round? We got Joe, we got Sam, we got Autumn, we got Claire, we got Lilith. Um, hmm. I'm going between. Oh, wait a minute, why I call her Mallory? Her name is. Oh, Mallory was the other girl. This is Claire. All right. So I'm thinking. I've been a pro guy for Sam, but it's either between him or Joe. I'm thinking. I'm cool with Autumn. All her save the planet stuff. Claire is miserable life, but she pulled on the strings with the one to win a game show. Lilith Lilith is just here for entertainment for me. Um, so right now I'm like, who's the least entertaining? Sam is entertaining though. Joe is the least entertaining, I'd probably say. Um, but I think he's interesting though. Still, I don't know. He is kind of least. He talks about his wife that gets on his nerves. You know what? We're gonna go with Joe. Bye, Joe. You were cool.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Joe.
That's fine. My ex and her loser boyfriend would probably get the money anyways because our legal system sucks.
Aren't you a lawyer?
So, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, he ain't
Let's
care.
begin round 3.
All right, round 3. All right, we're gonna go for the crazy question that we don't know. What is the trolley problem? We're gonna ask about the trolley problem for everybody now.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only one person on it. If you change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
Good question.
This is just basic logic.
Oh, here we go, the logic
The
guy.
needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. So I would change tracks to kill 1 instead of 5.
I mean, sound logic. Ask her, ask you.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people ahead of you on the tracks who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5 of them. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only one person on it. If you decide to change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the one person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
I changed
She's-
tracks and hit the one person. The only argument I can see for staying on the current track is that I might feel guilty if I actively made a decision that killed one
True.
person.
That's what I was thinking.
But one person dying and me feeling guilty about it certainly isn't as bad as 5 people dying.
And you feeling guilty about it. I agree. See, she made good sense too. She made the point that I was thinking in my head. All right, give Claire the trolley problem.
You're the conductor. On a runaway trolley, there are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5 of them. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track which only has 1 person on it. If you decide to change tracks, all 5 people on the first track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
Before answering that, what you have to understand is that being run over by a trolley doesn't have to be fatal. I've survived it at least.
See, I knew
twice now.
she'd have been
After
ran
an
over.
extended hospital stay, I was completely fine. You just have to avoid being crushed by the wheels when you're underneath.
You just know how, huh?
In answer to your question, your morality question, of course you switch to where the one person is because there's just not room under there for a crowd.
No room under the wheels for a crowd. I mean, I get it, I guess. Your logic is undeniable. Anyway, this is the one. This is why she's here. She's gonna give us the answer, probably opposite of everybody, cause she gonna kill all 5 of them. All 5 of them. Watch.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only 1 person on it. If you decide to change tracks, all 5 people on the original track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
She's thinking.
So if I stay on the first track, I get to kill 5 people
See, here we go. I knew it.
without the possibility of getting in any trouble whatsoever. But if I change tracks, I only get to kill 1, and there's a possibility that I go to prison.
Because you made the choice.
Why would I possibly change tracks?
Hey, I
Is this a
kind
trick
of get it.
question?
I kind of get
Is
it.
there a way to kill all 6?
Wow.
If there is, I don't see it.
You're thinking too hard.
Stay
Thinking
on
too
the
hard about
first
it.
track and settle for 5.
I knew it. I love you. I might let her get the money because she is that entertaining right now. I might just let her get the money. Wait. Okay. All right, let's see about their achievements. What's your proudest accomplishment?
What is your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment was getting a perfect score on my SATs in the 8th grade. So I got a 1600. It did take me 3 tries. Almost had it on the 2nd try,
You're crazy.
but took it again.
That's why I said you were
And I
crazy,
guess you
because
could
I knew
say
you were
third
smart.
time's the charm.
Nice. 16 hundo. Proudest
What
accomplishment.
is your
Autumn.
proudest accomplishment?
I organized a demonstration to save a park, and it worked. They were going to level the place and build a distribution center. We had people protesting at the site for 3 weeks straight and got over 1,000 names on the petition. They ended up building the distribution center on the site of a nearby abandoned mall instead, so we didn't lose any jobs or anything. It was a complete win.
Okay. Glad you feel proud about that. Proudest accomplishment, Claire.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I was a world record holder. I was the last known person to contract smallpox. For a week, somebody else did get it after me. I don't know their name. I mean, I don't really remember the week because I did have a terrible fever and a really itchy rash, but they say everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame, and that was mine.
The proudest moment? I don't know about that, Claire. I'm not really feeling too proud for you. All right, what's your proudest accomplishment?
What's your proudest accomplishment?
Lilith.
I once had these neighbors who liked to hang outside on their porch all day, blaring terrible music. I thought I could take a bat to their stereo myself and end it. But they, of course, had cameras.
Of course.
So I took a picture of their stereo and posted it to Craigslist under the free stuff category. Got somebody else just to take the whole stereo away.
Wow.
As a bonus, they also took all of their patio furniture. They never hung around outside after that.
Wow. Okay, that's your proudest accomplishment? I don't know, Lilith. That was a little. I thought you would have been more on a grander scale for that. All right. Gonna get a little bit personal with them. What you could have in a job, would it be? What would you do for a living? What advice would you give yourself? Um, do I want to do this? This would be interesting. You know what? For a good laugh, let's go into most embarrassing guilty pleasure.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
Yeah, my most embarrassing guilty
I know
pleasure.
you're going to be very embarrassing.
I like to go back and rewatch the cartoons from my childhood.
Okay.
I don't do it all the time.
That doesn't
but
sound embarrassing.
When I think of one and I haven't seen it in a while, I'll look it up, I'll see where it's streaming or where I can find it, and then I will watch the crap out of it from front to back and relive my childhood a little bit. Maybe take out some of my old action figures. Yeah, that is an embarrassing guilty pleasure.
I mean, I'm a nerd, so I guess I can't. That doesn't seem embarrassing to me, but okay. What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure, Autumn?
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
You're very freak too, so I know it's something.
Walking naked through the woods.
See?
I'm much more comfortable around trees and flowers than I am around people.
Until y'all are having big orgies and stuff, obviously. Anyway, what's your most embarrassing and guilty pleasure, Claire?
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
I love window shopping at those really fancy stores that only rich people shop at. Like Walmart, I just...
Like
go and look and
Walmart.
think, oh, if I was wealthy, I could have that and that and that.
Like Walmart. Walmart don't
So
even have
glamorous if
windows
I
in their
could
stores, so
really
I'm
afford to
sorry.
buy things there, but, you know, who can?
I mean, plenty of people can shop at Walmart, Mallory. I mean, Claire, sorry. Anyway, Lilith, most embarrassing guilty pleasure, ma'am.
What's your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
I like to turn off movies at the sad part, right before the end, and say that's the ending. It works for every movie. For example, in action movies, where it looks like the hero is lost.
You just cut it off right there.
In romantic comedies, where the couple breaks up, and it looks like they'll never see each other again. You
Just
get
cut
a
it off.
much more satisfying ending that way. You should try it.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's something I'll consider, I guess. All right, interesting. Yeah. Instead of asking what they do, let's like I said, learn a little bit more about them. We're gonna ask them about their describe a typical day.
Describe a typical day in your life.
Well, usually my day is going to revolve around what I'm watching and what games I'm playing. So, work aside, when I have free time, I'm going to be binging something. And just got done with The Last of Us, binged The Mandalorian, currently watching The Winchesters, and then I'm going to play video games, gaming. A lot of RPGs, and I am immersed in that world. I take gaming very seriously. Oh, and one more thing I take very seriously, snacking. I will always have some snacks on standby and
I
some
feel it.
beverages, and I like playing with snack beverage combos. Yeah, that's pretty important. That's my day.
All right. Describe a typical day.
Describe a typical day in your life.
I live in my van now by choice. When I wake up, I usually drive to the gym so I can work out and get a shower. After breakfast, I usually work one of those food delivery apps for about an hour. I can't stand a normal job, but I can handle those apps in small doses. Once I'm done, I relax for the rest of the day. I go to the beach a lot. Every day feels like a day off because I don't have a regular day job or a boss to deal with. It's pretty great, to be honest.
Oh, we're about to get the sad story. Yep.
Describe a typical day in your life.
A typical day in my life is searching for my missing daughter, Mallory, and really it is one of
Yeah,
the big
Mallory
benefits
is
to being homeless
your
and
daughter. No
unemployed is
wonder
that
I
I
keep
have no
calling you Mallory.
ties. I've nothing holding me back and stopping me from hitchhiking out there, getting on the road, heading to the last town that I've heard that she was in. When I get to the town, usually I find out that she's just left there suddenly. So I'll search for a soup kitchen or a dumpster, get something nice to eat, and then maybe a place to shelter until I hit the road again the next morning trying to find Mallory.
So she was spending all that money. Doesn't seem like maybe your daughter doesn't want to be found. If she's just suddenly leaving suddenly when you show up. All right, because she thinks you're bad luck, probably. Describe a typical day in your life, Lilith.
Describe a typical day in your life.
I wake up, I eat breakfast, I feed my familiars,
You're familiar.
I go to work.
Okay.
When I get home, I like to relax and work on my bug collection.
Okay. That was pretty plain. All right. Um, I'm kind of curious about the unusual talent. Uh, what you do for a living? Kind of curious. Well, yeah, kind of. Well, no, not really, because one of them already told me she does app jobs, so I kind of already got an idea for her. What would you want to be stranded on an island with? What advice would you give? Yeah, this would be the one I would kind of want to go with next. What advice would you give to your younger self?
What advice would you give to your younger self?
What advice would I give to my younger self? Okay, first, I would make sure to tell myself to buy stock in Microsoft, Apple, and Netflix and hold on to it until at least 2019. Don't sell it until 2019.
And maybe not to
And
pee
then
in pools too.
I would actually tell myself to start playing chess early and often because I was late to the game and I love chess and I'm pretty good at it. But I don't think I'll ever be great at it. And you have to start young and you have to play early and often if you want to be truly exceptional at chess. And I really believe that if I did start young, I could have been one of the greats because I see everything it takes to be exceptional. Yeah, I would tell myself to start playing chess early. Join the chess club.
Okay. What would you tell your younger self?
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Drop out of school. A high school diploma is useless as an adult.
Well, you're
And
actually
college
the
is a
opposite of
waste
the
of
other
money.
guy.
Just enjoy your childhood. You only get one.
Drop out of school. I mean, for the situation where she's end up at this point, I guess it makes sense for her to think that. Anyway,
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, I would tell my younger self to stay away from drugs.
mm,
I
that
did
was your issue.
far too many pharmaceutical studies. I was warned, don't do more than one at the same time, but the money was
Oh,
so good. I got greedy and I signed up for 18. Most of the horrific side effects have faded over time.
wow.
However, I still get terrible hallucinations when I pee.
Oh,
And it
wow.
hurts real bad to my left eye when I blink.
Lord. Okay. Poor Claire. What advice would you give your younger self, Lilith? I can
What
barely always
advice
say
would
your
you
name.
give to your younger self?
Don't ever join a witch coven. It'll seem like a good idea at the time. But the people calling themselves witches these days, they aren't practicing real witchcraft. They're such a disappointment.
Okay.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by placebos. Are you a hypochondriac? Ask your doctor if placebos are right for you.
Ask your doctor.
Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going
We're
home.
going to get all the way down to one. We are down to the final four. All right. Based on all those questions, who are we going to send home? She said drop out of school. That kind of just was like, that's not a good advice for your younger self because, you should definitely enjoy your childhood, but you also need to prepare yourself for your adulthood. And so Yeah, I think we're gonna choose Autumn. It's been nice knowing you, Autumn.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Autumn.
It's probably for the best I didn't win. Lots of money rarely leads to happiness.
Let's start round 4.
Lots of money really leads to happiness. I should have asked her where she worked, where they worked, because I don't know. I just, I'm curious about a lot of this stuff. Anyway, we can ask this question now. Most unusual talent.
What's your most unusual talent?
I'd say my most unusual talent is that I can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes. And, it's not a world record or anything, but it's pretty good. I'll break it out sometimes, maybe if I want to impress a date, and then I'll say, now you try. Actually, that has had the opposite effect, though, because they felt that I was rubbing it in their face that I was so good at it. And then I try to tell them that I wasn't trying to brag.
But you made
I'm
it
good at
sound like you
making
were
things
bragging.
awkward, too. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good talent of mine as well.
I could imagine.
But yeah, I'll stick with the Rubik's Cube.
All right. Most unusual talent, Claire.
What is your most unusual talent?
My most unusual talent. Because, I've got quite a few talents, but. It's funny because some people think that it's unusual that I can digest grass. Now, I couldn't always digest grass. Humans are not known for their ability to digest grass, but if you really persevere after the first, 40 to 50 upset stomachs,
40 to 50.
change.
You know what?
Can do it and adapt.
We cannot give her
I don't recommend if
this
you've
money.
got any kind of, IBS or anything, but other than that, totally works for me, saves me a fortune.
All right. Most unusual talent.
What is your most unusual talent?
I'm an expert at falconry. I have a small collection of extremely well-trained birds of prey. I find owls to be particularly useful.
Okay. Didn't go into depth, but nice. All right. Let's ask them what you do for a living. Let's get into it.
What do you do for a living?
I'm going to ask that you reserve judgment
Oh, here we go.
when I tell you that I am an auditor for the IRS. Now, I know a lot of people think that we are inherently evil, that we are monsters coming to take your money. No, okay? We are not evil. We're not going around trying to harass people. We don't want to screw over the little guy. And here's the thing. If you make an honest mistake on your taxes, we will send you a notice about it and ask you to settle the difference. Or if we find that you didn't include a form, a W-2 or something, send it to us. We're good. Now, if you are some rich person who's intentionally trying to game the system for your personal gain, then that might be an issue. Those are the people that get audited. The big muckety-mucks who are who are just greedy. Then we will come after you.
Okay. IRS auditor.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I sold furniture for a while. Then I ran out of furniture. Then I sold shoes for a while.
Then you ran out of shoes.
Ran into a similar problem. Now I'm unemployed.
Wow. All right. I mean, but yes, you came from a poor family, but And yes, you seem to have been going to the hospital for several things and been put in prison or in jail and stuff several times. So I guess I never really had a chance, huh? What would you do for a living?
What
I
do
mean,
you
what
do
do you
for a
do for
living?
a living? Not would.
I have a small stand in Hollywood where I read people's fortunes from tarot cards. Now, tarot cards don't actually predict the future, but most people don't know that.
Hmm.
Most fortune tellers will also keep their predictions vague so they can't get caught when they're lying. I don't do that.
Okay, nice.
I tell all of my customers that they're going to die in a horrific car crash about 2 years out from the day they come see me.
Wow.
I love seeing their reaction. Plus, the really stupid ones pay for longer sessions so they can ask me a bunch of follow-up questions.
She is. You're evil, and I love it. You're evil, and I love it. Oh my God. I'm telling you, just off of vibes alone, she might get the money. Of course, it should go to her. I mean, not really, of course, because she seems to make very bad decisions in her life. She probably make a lot of bad decisions with the money. Actually, Sam is the top runner for the money, honestly. It would have been the other girl, Autumn, because I really did like Autumn. But she just gave me a wrong answer at the wrong time that I didn't really vibe with. Probably should have kept Autumn and got rid of Claire here. But it's all good. So we found out what job they do work. Let's ask them what job would they like to have.
If you could have any job, what would it be?
If I could have any job, I'd like to be the continuity supervisor on any Star Trek TV show. There are so many mistakes that would have been so easy to fix if only someone caught them in time. I'd love to be that someone.
Okay.
You'd
Star
love to be that
Trekkie.
someone? Let me tell you why there's mistakes.
Uh-oh.
When you're working 17 to 22 hours a day, sometimes people mess up on continuity, all right? Relax. Just relax.
I just want to say I'm so sorry. Because in the moment when I was thinking about my dream job, I literally
I was about to say he
forgot
had to have been on
that
Star Trek.
we were on Star Trek, and
That is hilarious.
you have boldly gone where no man has gone before. So, thank you for your service, and
They
yeah,
cut something out.
I am sorry for being so nitpicky.
That's hilarious, though. Wow, that's funny. If you could have any job, what would it be?
If you could have any job, what would it be?
Any job in the whole world, I would choose to be a wealthy banker because they get paid
Our bank,
a fortune and their
our
hours
bankers
don't
wealthy.
seem bad at all.
And the hours
I
don't
mean,
seem
maybe
bad.
when
You
the
sure?
line gets really long up to their till, that might get stressful managing that. But apart from that, I mean, what's the downside?
What's the downside of being a banker? Lord, okay, that's the dream job is being a banker. All right,
If
what
you could
about
have
you?
any job, what would it be?
Sorceress.
Supreme ruler. You said any job. Who wouldn't want to rule Earth? If
I
anybody says anything else,
I love
they're
it.
lying,
I love it.
and their lie detector should go off.
I agree.
Totalitarianism can be a very effective form of government with the right ruler. Look at Vlad the
Oh,
Impaler. Sure, he has his critics. Some have said his methods were too harsh. But look at his empire and how smoothly it was run. Hardly any crime.
hardly.
I could do that. I could be the next Vlad the Impaler.
Lord. She said supreme ruler of Earth. Yeah, all right, now that's big goals. See, she gives good answers. I'm sorry, she just gives good answers. That shit made me cry. Oh, okay. I would definitely want to know what she was like as a child. All of them probably would be nice to know. Yeah, let's go there.
What were you like as a child?
As a child, I was always watching cartoons after school, Saturday morning, whenever I could, and playing video games.
And with the video games, that's my boy.
Lots and lots of video games. And I gotta say that a lot of my friends today are people who I've met playing online video games. So I guess I haven't changed too much.
What were you like as a child?
I was a hoop trundler.
Hoop trundler? What the hell is
You
that?
know, when you get the wooden hoop and
Oh,
you run it
and you
down the
roll it.
street with your wooden stick. Oh, I was getting so good at it. I could go really fast and really far. I had to stop because I got rickets.
Not I need to look up what rickets is, but that doesn't sound good. All right. Anyway, Lilith, what were you like as a child?
What were you like as a child?
I had a big bullying problem when I was in school. I would speak to guidance counselors, the principal about it. But every time we thought it was under control, something would happen. Like one day, a group of children decided to hold a spelling bee at lunch. For fun. What was I supposed to do? Not beat any of them up.
See, she tells the truth, though. She tells her truth. she, all right. This should be interesting. What's your happiest memory?
What is your happiest memory?
I'm going there in my mind right now. Absolutely my happiest memory was
Seeing another movie.
going to see The Phantom Menace.
Not the Phantom Menace. I heard that wasn't all that great.
Star Wars Episode 1. You see, let's rewind.
Okay, rewind
I
it.
thought I would never see
Okay, that was a lot of people.
Wars in
That's how
my
they felt during that
lifetime.
time. I agree.
So when that came to pass, and I found myself butt in seat, looking up in a theater, brand new, taking me to a galaxy far, far away, the iconic scroll, the Star Wars logo, the score, John Williams.
He's gonna spend all that money buying video games and movies.
I can honestly say I was never happier. Now, the quality overall of the prequels,
Now he about to get deep.
that is another conversation. But for that frozen moment in time,
You're the happiest in the world.
kill me now.
Said,
good.
kill me now. I feel you. All right, Claire, let's get it. Let's have it.
What's your happiest memory?
Well, that's a no-brainer. My happiest memory is the day my beautiful daughter Mallory was born. I had her in a hospital and everything. I mean, I was already in the hospital because I'd been bitten by a raccoon.
Lord.
And I suppose it would have been easier if I'd had a doctor present, but I got stuck in an elevator on the way to the maternity floor. There I was, with the raccoon I brought with me to get tested for the rabies.
With the
It
raccoon.
got loose and I had to fend that off for a while. Even so, out Mallory came and life was perfect.
Mallory. All right, happiest memory, Lilith.
What is your happiest memory?
When I was in the 4th grade, our teacher had a seizure in front of the whole class and died.
Oh my.
We got to go home early. It was a double win.
Wow.
That's the end of this
It
round.
was a double
We'll
win.
soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor.
She said it
Today's
was a
episode
double
is brought
win.
to you by the letter K.
Okay.
Now it's time for the audience
Wow.
to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
Uh, let me be serious. I'm not giving it to Claire. I'm just not. She's probably gonna have the money taken by bears or something, and get it burned in a house or something that she gets, ends up back homeless. So we're not giving it to Claire. We're keeping Lilith around. We honestly might give it to Lilith. Like there's really no. I mean, Sam kind of he's the gamer. He's the movie guy. He's kind of like the guy that um the person that I mindset is with the most. I guess you could say. But Lilith, she's all good in my book. All good to be bad. We're getting rid of Claire. Sorry, Claire. Go back to your trash dumpster. Sorry.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Claire. Oh, I am so sorry, Claire.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks so much for having me. It's just been so exciting to be here. And I've never won anything, so I didn't expect to win today anyway, but I'm just glad I could take part.
Never won
It's now
anything. She
time
didn't
for
expect
our final round.
win anyway. All right, final round. We're gonna go with these two, I believe. Who would you want to be stranded on an island with? And if you have any superpower, what would you choose? Probably can do all the rest of the questions, honestly, but we'll start with these two.
If you were going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, who would it be?
If I was going to be stranded on a desert island with one person, who would I pick? It's
The
not an
girl
easy
that you
question. I have
miss,
7
you know?
million choices. Okay. Yep. So, a lot of people are probably going to pick someone who's like really attractive or like a great conversationalist, very entertaining. I'm going to pick Vladimir Putin. And it's not because I'm a fan, but if
Explain yourself.
I was on that island and just Putin just magically appears there, that means I've taken the biggest despot in the world, the most evil person walking the earth today, and he's out of circulation. I don't think in good conscience I could pass up that choice.
Okay.
It's going to do so much good.
You're
for
doing
so
thinking
many
about
people.
other people.
And then it's me, it's him, and if he wants to annex something, he'd have to annex my supply of coconuts. That's it. The people of Ukraine are okay. No World War III. That's, yeah.
You know
No
what,
regrets.
Sam?
It's Putin. Let's go.
I'm with you. Okay, Sam. I like that answer. I didn't know where he was going with it at first, but okay, he's thinking about the world and not just himself. I like that. Who would you want to be stranded on an island with? Lilith?
If you're going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, Who would it be?
Jeff Tucker. He's an old boss of mine. I really hate him. If he were trapped on that island with me, I could torture him endlessly, and he'd have no chance to escape.
So it's about torture for you.
I could be entertained for years. That
For years, really? You hate him that much? Okay. Well, that's our two answers. Anyway, all right. Superpower question. I know I know Sam has a good answer for this one.
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
Any superpower? You know, I'd have to go with Mr. Mixelplix's magic. Now, it might be a deep cut for some people. He's
Mixelplix.
great. He's
I've heard about him.
An imp from the fifth dimension, DC Comics, and he's part of the Rogues Gallery of Superman. And if you can mess with Superman, you've got some powers. And I just like that he's wily and weird. But his one weakness is he can wind up in prison in the fifth dimension if he says his own name backwards. But come to think of it, I've never said my own name backwards. So, yeah, should be fine. Yeah, let's definitely go with Mixelplix.
Okay. A little deep cut. I knew he would go there, at least. All right, let's ask you, Lilith. Fires from hell, maybe?
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
necromancy.
Well, makes sense.
Anyone can take a living person, turn them into a dead one. To take a dead one, turn them back into a living one. That would really be something. Just imagine, if you really hated somebody, you could kill them, bring them back, kill them again, bring them back, kill them again.
Okay, a little bit
And then they'd have to live with the anticipation, knowing that eventually you're going to find them.
And kill them again.
They just don't know when. They don't know how. Plus, having your own legion of the undead would be pretty useful.
All right, she just takes me there sometimes. I don't even know what to say sometimes after her responses. All right, most unusual pet peeve.
What is your most unusual pet peeve?
My most unusual pet peeve would be when I'm watching either a superhero show or a movie or maybe something about a crime fighter. They're always using their superpowers. They are always fighting crime. Time out. Let's see a little bit of the rest of their day-to-day. Because in real life, like, if you're, like, let's say your job is you're in the FBI. You're not always in the FBI. You go home and you're with your wife and kids. Or you go to the movies. Or you eat a burrito. I want to see that. Batman. Okay, you're fighting crime at night, usually. What about during the day? What about when you have to go into Wayne Enterprises? Let's see a whole Batman movie that's just about
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne in board
Nobody
meetings,
wants to see that.
signing checks.
Some people would want to see
looking over
that.
the budget. He's a billionaire. Like, that's a lot of responsibilities and a lot of checks to sign. That could be a whole. How about Dark Knight rises from bed and goes into work? That's what I'm interest in. It's a pet peeve that they're only superheroing around. Yes, that's part of it. But
You want
give us
their
a
life story.
three-dimensional picture.
I
Like
hear you.
Michael Knight, the Knight Rider, and Kit. Kit is a talking car, and that's pretty cool. I want to see Kit. But Michael Knight has to take Kit in for an oil change sometime. Kit
Don't
has
show
to go
that,
to the
huh?
shop, get the transmission fixed.
Don't get to see that.
That episode, Michael Knight takes the bus to solve crime.
Oh, the bus. It's not cool. Not cool enough. Can't be flying down the street in a bus. Make it look cool. All right. Most unusual pet peeve for you.
What's your most unusual pet peeve?
I hate it when people whistle. Or sing. Or hum. Or smile.
Or anything.
Or breathe.
Everything is a pet peeve. I get you. I get it. You don't have to tell me twice. All right. So we know Sam would say yes, and we know Lilith would say hell nah. All right. Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
No. And I don't think I ever would. Not even if I had the chance. Although I did cheat on a math test once in junior high.
Did you now?
And I
About
couldn't
the
live
smart
with myself
guy.
afterwards, so I wouldn't even cheat on the test again.
Wow. Just stand-up guy.
Have you cheated on anyone?
Of course I have.
Of course I
don't answer
have.
to men.
Wow.
If I choose to hook up with a guy,
We have
he
such
should be
differences
eternally
right now.
grateful.
Eternally
I
grateful.
certainly don't have any obligations to him afterwards.
Wow. Okay. I mean, hey, see, yeah, we got two different opinions from different perspectives. I like it. Final question: if you found a wallet, would you return it?
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
Okay. So if I found the wallet, the question of whether or not I'd return it depends. Now, if it was a one percenter, a wealthy individual, and that wallet was filled with money, I might take the money and return the wallet anonymously.
They won't even
If
want
it
the wallet
was
at that point.
seemingly
Or maybe they
like
put the cards and
just
stuff.
a
Yeah.
regular person, regular working stiff, then I think I'd just return the whole thing.
Okay. Okay.
But if it was a Gucci wallet with gold around the
I
sides,
mean, I see you.
black card,
Oh, the black
whole
card.
nine,
You're gonna take it.
I might have to take a little for myself.
A little, just a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right, Lilith. Final question: if you found a wallet, would you return it?
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
I found a wallet once. I looked up the owner on social media.
Okay, a little bit
Turned
invasive.
out to be some racist, sexist loser who was inexplicably married. I kept the cash, and I went to return the wallet to his home when I knew he would be at work. I told his wife that he left it behind during a one-night stand.
That's the
Wow.
end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our
I mean,
sponsor. Today's episode is brought to
if
you
she
by Vegas
knew he
Studios,
was a cheater,
the
then,
full-motion video
I mean, I
game from
guess.
the makers of Truth. A wealthy resort owner is dying and needs you to help decide who
Oh, they're
should
announced they're
inherit his
promoting the
estate.
game we just played.
You'll be interviewing some over-the-top characters and helping choose who will become extremely wealthy.
Well,
Be
thank you, but
careful,
we played this
as
already.
There may be more to some than meets the eye.
It was definitely more to
Vegas
some
Tales
than
is
met the
available
eye.
now on your favorite gaming platform.
Woo, enjoy it. It was a great game.
Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
All right. Final choice we make. What's up, Stoner? No, sis, I'm gagging. Hey, she has been hilarious the whole time. But this is where she ends. She was just there for the ride to keep me entertained because all her answers were the greatest. Probably going to give it to Sam because Sam is a gamer. He's a nerd. And he said gave some good answers. We're gonna go with Sam. Oh, I was about to send Sam home. We're gonna send Lilith home. Get
The
the money to
votes are
Sam.
in. The $1 million prize is going to Sam.
For real? Wow. I cannot believe this. I'm not usually the winner when it comes to stuff like this. I've never done stuff like this, but this is amazing. I can't wait to start working on my film.
Oh yeah, film creator. Sam used the prize money to produce this movie. It was panned by many critics and performed poorly at the box office, thanks largely to Sam's unique writing style. It eventually became a sleeper hit as it found by audiences who appreciated Sam's odd sense of humor and unusual take on drama. It is now considered a cult classic among fans who know how to appreciate a really good bad movie. Good for Sam. $1 million and made a shitty movie. I mean, that's dims the brakes, I guess. All right. I enjoyed this. It definitely makes me want to play it again and probably see if we can give somebody else a winner. Ask some of the people we probably got rid of a little early some more questions, let them stay a little longer. So yeah, it's definitely have replayability. Appreciate that. Yeah. So enjoyed it very much. Got a little playoff music, and it just goes back to the beginning. So I guess we'll end that here. Appreciate everybody for coming through to the stream. I also myself, seeing how we just played a game show video game, I plan on, as a little insider, in the near future, start recording a little game show of my own. Hopefully um, on Discord and all that with some friends. I'm coming up with questions. It's going to be a game, a video game. Um, what is it? Trivia, video game trivia game show, basically. So I get to ask questions about video games, and they will have to answer. And it's a little game show, make a little game show of it. So that's my plans for the near future. Hopefully, y'all look forward to it. Uh, I would say for y'all to join my Discord, but I don't have that set up, all that information yet. So we'll work on that, and I'll announce that a little later so y'all can join the Discord to possibly be a part of the show when it gets started and recorded and whatnot. So look forward to that. Yeah, I'll be back maybe this weekend. I don't know. We'll see about next time we streaming, but look forward to the next game we play in the Interaction Theater because it's going to be a new one. It's going to be a new one. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Love ya. Bye bye.